This is my 1998 Toyota Landcruiser. Its journey started 400 kilometers from home after sitting in a shed abandoned for 6 years.
She runs, she drives, she has a few lights on.
But that was 3 months ago, and since then we've spent every video modifying and repairing this old cruiser to turn it into the ultimate budget tourer.
We've got the drawers mostly in, we just need to secure them down properly.
We've even been able to take the Landcruiser to some of the coolest camping spots in New South Wales. And not once has the trusty Landcruiser broken down or given up on us. But there's been two major components that have been letting down this car's appearance from the beginning. The rusty old rims and the unpainted, faded rear bumper.
Welcome back to another Landcruiser video, and today we are fixing up the wheels and this disgusting black bumper that is underneath me right now, because they are pretty much the ugliest part of the whole car. The wheels are so rusty. Obviously the correct way to do this would be to sandblast them and restore them properly, but I do want to get proper chrome rims on the car, so I'm not going to bother with sandblasting them now. We are just going to kind of sand them back a bit and spray them with chrome spray.
My ultimate goal in the next few months is to get new chrome rims, bigger tires, and lift the car 2 inches. And whilst this is just a temporary fix so it doesn't look like a complete rust bucket, the rest of the car's paintwork and bodywork is very bad. Whilst it may look alright on camera, up close it is by no means perfect.
As you can see, they are in pretty rough condition, so we want to actually just get them to kind of a glossy chrome look. The chrome spray is not like a remotely actually gloss chrome or mirror like, it just kind of shines up alloys, so hopefully it'll make these look a lot better because the rust on them at the moment is terrible. And like I said before, the correct method to doing this would be to sandblast these rims, take them off, properly prep them and sandblast them. We don't have a sandblaster at all, it's going to be expensive to do. We want to keep this on a budget because I do want to put a 2-inch lift on this car, 33s and some chrome rims at some point, but that's going to be the next big modification in the future. So for now, I'll touch up these old stockies, make them look a tad better.
I did actually attempt to get these professionally sandblasted, but there was nobody in our area that was willing to do just rims, because apparently this job is too small.
And then, of course, we have to get rid of the disgusting faded plastic on this back bumper, because even though the paint on this car is terrible, one of the most noticeable things from the rear end is that this is a different color, and obviously you can see some black overspray on there as well because we had to touch it up for blue slip, but let's ignore that for now. So we have color match paint to pretty much match this as best as possible. If we wanted to do it properly, obviously we do air sprayer and actually, you know, mask everything off, but the clear coat on this car is so bad. Like, as you can see here, it honestly is worse in person than actually on camera. So there's no point putting a ton of money into doing this rear bumper properly, because it will likely either be replaced by a proper bar with a spare wheel mount at some point. This is a bush basher, remember, we take it camping, we get it dirty like it's supposed to be, so at the moment I'm not bothered to do any kind of proper paint work on this car at all. We've given these a good rinse off, so there should be nothing remaining on there. I'm going to mask up obviously around the tyre because you don't want to get any chrome overspray on the tyre. So
these center caps were pretty rusty, so they were kind of difficult to get off, but we managed to just pry them off with a screwdriver and a hammer.
there's the hub, far out. Wow, that chrome spray is like perfect. Holy crap.
Apart from the obvious surface rust, these rims are in pretty good condition, so I'll probably end up chucking them up on Facebook for free, just in case anybody wants to restore them.
Alright, we're on to the back driver's side now because the front one's drying. Jeremy's going to have a spray at this one, but I'm going to tape it up because he's lazy. Putting Jeremy's painting ability to the test. Oh my god! Brother! Are you serious? You just sprayed it all on the tyre.
It's alright, you can take that off.
Yeah, with what? Sandpaper. little tiny sprays. No, little, small. Yeah. You're really just struggling, aren't you? Try to get as minimal through to the brakes as possible as well.
I know compared to our other videos, this job is very minor, but it's little things like this and little improvements on this old car that make the world of difference.
What do you have to say about getting overspray on 90% of the rim, Jeremy?
You know what's the best part? Where you cut out how you closely oversprayed it about 30 seconds.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't mess up, you did.
Buddy. Mine is like light but large.
Yeah.
Yours is small but just a fucking straight up chrome now.
Now, without a doubt, this will definitely not last long term, but hopefully we can just touch it up if any rust comes through, because these do look a lot better than obviously being completely rusty. Pretty happy with that until we get proper 17-inch chromes on these with bigger wheels.
And don't worry, we will show the whole car completed at the end of the video once the bumper is done too.
Now that we have the rims done, mask up some of these reflectors and start getting onto the bumper, because we're actually going to color match it. We've bought color match spray paint cans. We've got 2 of them. We've also got a coat of primer, so we're going to put a coat of primer on this plastic, even though you probably don't need it, and hopefully it'll turn out all right. We've even got clear coat to go over the top, so hopefully it looks semi-decent. So this is the proper color match spray paint. We got it done today. Jeremy actually picked it up from Super Cheap, so hopefully this stuff is semi-decent and I've picked the right color code.
While we wait for the primer to dry, I thought I'd give you a little update on the $800 Project E46. We picked this E46 318i up for $800 off Facebook, and since then it's had CarPlay installed, the brakes changed, a good service, and it is now fully registered.
So we have the E46, the $800 budget E46, and you already know with any old BMW, there's always codes on the dash. So TOPDON have actually sent one of the coolest scanning units I've ever used, the Diag 600. And this thing is so good. It's basically like an Android in your tool. So as you can see, just plug it in. So any car with OBD2, this obviously works on, and this has a pretty comprehensive scan and a bunch of capabilities, including some coding stuff, reading mileage. So if you're ever going to buy a car and you're worried about the odometer being tampered with, this will show you the actual odometer. You don't ever have to worry about that, because this car actually says 59,000 Ks, but we all know that a 2001 E46 definitely doesn't have 59,000 Ks. We'll run diagnostics. Honestly, would not promote a tool like this unless it was this useful. This is probably the best tool we've had. This week alone, I've helped 3 people at work figure out what's wrong with their car with this thing. It is absolutely fantastic. So much faster and better than those silly cheap ones from the local auto parts store that are like $30. So as you can see, we are now scanning all the control modules. It has 6 faults, progress 100%. Oxygen sensor. In the ABS module, we have a bunch of issues. So we have cleared these already and they have come back, but we can clear them again and see which ones come back again. Still one persistent in the ABS. It has not been programmed, I believe, this ABS correctly, or it's just a faulty unit.
But anyway, let's get back to painting the Landcruiser, because by now the primer has definitely dried. Like I said before, this paint job will not be perfect, but like any other old four-wheel drive, as long as you don't look too close, it looks pretty good.
Now we haven't done the clear coat or anything yet, and we're still not 100% finished, but that looks so much better from a distance than it did before on the last one. I'll throw a video up of what it used to look like. Yes, it's not 100% perfect, it's more silver than the original color, but it looks a lot better and a lot less like an absolute dump of a four-wheel drive. Seriously though, why is modifying a stock four-wheel drive so addictive? If you have any kind of drug abuse or problems, buy a stock one of these and you will be out of money within a few weeks, because modifying these things is so addictive. Have you enjoyed this process?
I have enjoyed this process, but Lane, can I show you something on the vehicle?
Yes, what do you want to show me? Yeah, I went over it 3 times, it hasn't fixed it, so we're just gonna forget about it. Should be right. It looks a lot better than it did before. You can't lie. You cannot lie, this car looks a lot better than it did before.
Except for that butt crack of vein in front of it.
The vein popping out. So we have the new and improved Landcruiser here, and now Noah is adding some rock lights. He's adding 8 rock lights to his patrol before we go on our next off-road adventure. So you got to stay tuned for that one. It should be coming up within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a pretty cool one. This is actually like a much bigger task than he imagined. Anything electrical is just a pain in the ass in general. As you can see, got to get all 8 lights wired up, and this is the mess at the moment. It's been fed through the firewall, just helping him put some of the insulation on, and he's drilling in the final light in the rear bumper now, so it's going to be pretty cool.
There's also been one vital component that our Landcruiser has been missing since day one, an actual working radio. But thankfully ATOTO have sent us a pretty cool unit that'll fit directly into the Landcruiser.
Now, I've always been hesitant putting Chinese parts in cars like this because you want them to be durable and you want them to last. You don't want to waste your money on stuff that isn't very good, but we have now taken this Chinese head unit off-roading twice now and on some pretty bumpy roads, and it's lasted it completely fine. This is actually an insanely good unit. It also has the capability for a reverse camera if you do want to install that, but as you can see, the unit itself is very responsive and just actually surprisingly good for a Chinese head unit. I have never been this surprised. You can watch YouTube on it, you can mirror your phone, obviously run CarPlay and Android Auto through it, so in a second my phone will connect to it. Now obviously the Landcruiser is not perfect by any means, but the state of this thing before was a lot worse, and these little tiny paint improvements, even though they're not perfect, they make it look so much newer and more looked after.
Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, comment below what we should add to the Cruiser next.